I'm Taylor, and this is my Refresh story. I'm a wife to Jonathan and a mom to two, I want to say little girls, but they're growing girls now. They're 10 and 7, and I'm also the creative director for Refresh and have this unique blend of being really type A and also creative. So I met the Lord when I was 14, growing up in youth group in Minnesota. He was so gracious and kind and just met me at a really pivotal part of my life where I was finding so much of my identity in what I did and what I produced. And I was just a really, really high achiever. I got straight A's if it killed me. I finished top of my class. It just was really important for me to do really, really well, and that became my identity. So after high school, that identity piece quickly transferred into really wanting to be a wife and a young mom. And God just knows the desires of our hearts, and He gave me those things at a very young age. I was married at 21, and I had my first daughter when I was 24. But that is like where my dreams stopped. I was invited to my first Refresh back in 2016, and it was on the heels of having my second daughter. I was 3 months postpartum. Honestly, I wasn't going to go, but I just felt this nudging in my spirit that this really was something for me. So I walked into that Refresh having already fulfilled this deep dream I had in my heart. I felt really great about where I was in life. Like, I had the guy, I now had the kids, we were about to move into our home, and I couldn't see past that. I was living really small. I was really, I think, fearful of failing and disappointing myself. Anything outside of being a wife and a mom in that moment felt really scary and really big. I can't exactly pinpoint one moment that things shifted for me, but it was a bunch of honestly small moments that the Lord used to really awaken my own mind and my own heart that He had more for me. One of the most powerful things for me was sitting in a room with all of these women who looked like me, who were in the same season of life and starting families, running businesses, serving in church and in ministries. And I just realized they were doing all of that while building the kingdom of God. And I was playing it really safe and building my own kingdom. It was so easy for me to believe that God had those things in store for those women, but it was really hard for me to believe that for myself. I left Refresh realizing that God had such a bigger plan for my life, and now it was on me to let go and surrender and be willing to risk it. A few months later, I got a call from Sarah, and she offered me a position on the Refresh team, and I would be her first employee. And I was sitting in the Costco parking lot, and I just knew in that moment that this was the big God-sized risk that He was asking me to make. It's ironic to think about how I walked into that room feeling like, one, I had accomplished my own dreams up until that point and playing it so safe. And now I'm a part of a ministry that encourages other women to dream beyond themselves with the Lord. So if you're in the room and you are maybe here at Refresh for the first time and you're identifying with pieces of my story, I would just say to you, I would challenge you to risk it and to believe that God really is who he says he is, and that the promises found in his word apply to you and not just the woman sitting next to you. Refresh has been a huge part of my story, and it's really helped me to awaken to what I carry for the kingdom.